Is the world going to hell? Take a moment to consider your response if you like. There is no right or wrong answer to that question. However, if you had a yes or no answer right away, then you are probably wrong. If there is a right answer, it must come out something like, maybe. Is the world going to hell? I don't know. Maybe. The maybe answer is hopeful. The yes or no answers are equally disastrous. A definite yes is disastrous because it is so defeatist. It implies that there is no hope. A definite no is disastrous because it must come from a particular bubble view of reality. You cannot be realistic, in other words, and hold the view that everything is okay. So many things that loom as real and growing threats to stability must be forcefully ignored in order to maintain the fantasy view that things are not going to hell. So the maybe answer is the correct view in many ways because it is neither defeatist nor does it come from denial. The maybe answer is for this very reason hopeful. If you are willing to entertain the very real possibility that indeed the world is going to hell, then you may keep an open mind. You might see the possibilities, or the silver lining in the otherwise dark cloud. If you were to study history, you might discover that in a great many instances, a new innovation was chanced upon by individuals who could see realistically. This is especially true in a time of crisis. Any individual that is prone to either defeatist thinking or to a denial of a problem is unlikely to see a way forward. So many of the innovations that allowed people to flourish in the past came from a discovery of a solution to a problem. Oftentimes these innovations will come in a time of big problems or crisis. In this way we have come to have the phrase, necessity is the mother of invention. Innovation can come in a number of forms. It could be a new machine. It could be a social innovation that reorganizes how we relate to one another and to government. Or it could be a medical discovery that saves lives. These are but a few of the possibilities. The point to remember is that we often arrive at them at the times that we need them. And this is one of those times. And the first step is the awareness that it is. Therefore, it is a good thing to have the opinion that the world is perhaps going to hell. But no one wants a hell, at least no one that is a well-adjusted human being. Certainly there are always those that hate the world and would like to see it burn, but such people must have darkness in their hearts, or else they subscribe to some apocalyptic worldview, and they think the promised land will emerge after the world burns. In any accounting for such people, we must conclude that these extreme views are found in only a small minority, or else we would have destroyed ourselves already. So to awareness. There is much to be hopeful for with awareness. We do not want hell on earth, but the recognition of it arriving around us can compel us. We have choices. We can sit on the sidelines and let the crisis deepen, or we can engage the changes that are going on in the world around us, and through doing so, we can have an active role in shaping the world for the better. Much can begin to happen for the better with changing the conversation. Every day you hear it and see it from others, or in the news, however you receive it, there is the constant pointing out of what is wrong. There are judgments leveled against those people, as if every problem in the world that is bringing us to this hell is due to, well, them, and we point the finger. This focus and the thinking that comes with it is highly contributing to fulfilling an apocalyptic prophecy. For if we spend our time accusing one another and putting up walls to keep out the undesirables, then we neglect the real problems and fail to engage. So why not reframe it? Why not change the conversation? Yes, we are all aware of the things that are happening, But complaining about it, or worse, acting out from our fear, this is not engaging the change for the better. Rather, it builds a deepening negative. You've got to feel bad and dark internally when you view things from the negative. But change the conversation. Be the one in your circle to start it, and watch the world, how you feel about things, begin to respond. The often cited words of Margaret Mead sums this up quite nicely. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. There are already a lot of people doing great work that advance social stability in some way. Such people that make up positive social organizations are already engaging change. This diatribe is not specifically looking to create some new such organization per se. Rather, the focus is more personal and more basic. It concerns you. How do you think? How do you feel? So much that is out there in the deepening gloom of hell will get you down if you let it. You've got to steel yourself if you are to truly escape the pervasive negative. That suggestion may at first glance seem to be an antithesis of engaging. But here is the kicker. Here is the secret. The secret is you. It is all of you. And that too is the problem, because you cannot possibly be all of yourself when you exist in this world as it is. That is not to say that there are not some fully realized or nearly fully realized persons living among us. If you have had the good fortune to cross paths with such a one, you may have noticed, for such persons almost seem to give off some light. But most of us are fighting for the light, or else we are trapped in a darkness where we think that this is all that there is. Whether you are fighting for the light, or else you are mostly immersed in a dark gloom of this reality, in either case, at some point in your life, you have probably felt that there must be more than this. That feeling is like a splinter in your mind. It is a fundamental truth, a spark or ember of fire that never entirely goes out. If you come from a faith tradition, you may have a name for it. But we need not name it. We need only to feel it. Feel it and feed it. Do so, and the ember will grow. Do so, and as the fire grows within you, you will feel an enlightening, a burning away of all that is rotten and dark. As your own fire burns more brightly, you will begin to see with your true eyes. The true eyes, or the human heart, is a thing that sees and feels with a kind of knowing. It is like an ancient artifact that reaches back to the beginning, back to the genesis of human existence, and perhaps further, to the genesis of the stars themselves, to the genesis of light. This may all seem a bit cryptic, or else it comes from some new agey wishful thinking. But rest assured, the truth of you is more real than anything in this world that has ever been constructed out of some human motivation. For so much of what we have built, although there is much that is inspiring and beautiful even, so many of those very constructs come from the birthplace of pride or a similar motivation. Alexander Solzhenitsyn gave this phrase during his acceptance speech for the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1970. Beauty will save the world. He was quoting Fyodor Dostoevsky from a work entitled The Idiot, first published in 1869. In that 1970 speech, Solzhenitsyn relates how he came to have an understanding that Dostoevsky was speaking as a form of prophecy. The statement, as we encounter it, is very much open-ended and cryptic. It could mean many things. Surely the greatest beauty in all things derived from human beings comes from a source that we call the human heart. We cannot easily explain what this is. In a faith there may be an answer, but it is almost too elusive for words, this thing that is felt so deeply. Perhaps we may call it beauty. Beauty itself. A non-thing, greater and more precious than anything. It is always over the next horizon, the undiscovered country, the stuff of visions and the greatest of dreams. Always seemingly just out of reach, it beckons. Come and see. Come and be at one with. This quality of being just outside our grasp imparts an enormous potential. It imparts it to us. So reach. Reach inside. The beauty is there. It is in you. It is just waiting to be realized. If you find this beauty, you will find it unfathomable. It is at once the most minuscule, a particle or vibrating string of inexplicable energy, and it is vastness beyond all of that there is. It is high time for that beauty to show itself in this world. We sit on the cusp. An old world view is crumbling. We have the tools we can employ. We have the technology to aid us in the transition to the new. A new age is dawning, and it is a revelation of beauty.
Oh, hello there. I was looking for you. I'm thrilled to meet you. A disembodied voice is different than a talking head. The voice will tend to be more serious. A talking head in a video has more of a theatrical quality to it. I'll use this as a chance to lighten up as I sign off. One of my favorite quotes or words to live by comes from Oscar Wilde. I used a paraphrasing of the original. Here it is. Life is too important to take seriously. I like the phrase because I do like to laugh sometimes at myself. People that take themselves too seriously can't do that. As in all things, it's good to have balance in life. You shouldn't be too serious, but you shouldn't make a joke about everything either. So, is it all about you? What about me? We all talk to ourselves. Perhaps I do more than most. That is a big part of how I became this self-styled philosopher. I made the argument to myself long before I made it to you. My plan is an evolving one. I will keep at this and even devote more to it if the reciprocal relationship with you develops and grows. My plan too is for a gradual personal revelation. At the completion of each episode, there will be a pause, followed by a little bit more of who I am, how I got here and why I do this, etc. For now, know that as I discuss change for the world and for the human race, I have recently gone and am going through change myself. In a sense, the change in my own life brought me to you now. I am looking to embrace the changes as I know I must, but I admit fear and trepidation. These first steps are taken haltingly, but in my heart, I want to run. And on my best days, I want to fly. See ya.